Welcome back to the Eskimo Brothers Reviews. This is episode 3. Today we did a movie called The Little Hours. You can currently catch it on Netflix, starring Dave Franco, Alison Brie, Aubrey Plaza. It's a very interesting movie, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's a good mix between a comedy, romance. It's got a little bit of everything.
It's unique. It's not neatly placed in one category, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a one-of-a-kind type film. This was my choice. I had previously seen it before. Shadow Man here had not. I chose it because of the comedy throughout the film and just the overall look and I'd say just cinematic beauty of the film. I'll start with a little bit about it. I did like wherever it was filmed. It looked amazing. It was definitely, it was in the springtime, you could tell. Beautiful flowers. It was a beautiful just countryside. You have different castles. It's supposed to take place in the 1300s. I think it was 1347 or so.
Around there.
But yeah, I think one of my favorite things about the film was just the overall look of it and how they captured what looked like medieval life at the time. Did you have any thoughts about like the scenery or?
Something that would go with the scenery was the music in the movie. It was very well done. A lot of choirs and a lot of, I don't know if it was a classical guitar or maybe a lute. They were playing a lot of single note, very sparse kind of stuff. That I think, fit that time period very well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that soundtrack. It was perfect. It went perfectly with the movie. Let's see. Did you have any favorite parts or favorite scenes or anything?
I think the best part was probably everything with Fred Armisen.
Fred Armisen.
Armisen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, as the bishop, he was great. He was just, even when he wasn't talking, just his look, the way he would look at people, it was hilarious. He shows up late in the movie, but when he does, it's very funny.
That is true. He is one of my favorite parts as well. Yeah, and like speaking of the looks, like I did like all of their attire. It all seemed to be, at least what I know, it seemed to be perfect for the period. Yeah. I really liked Fred Armisen. I did like Dave Franco's character, who was, I don't know what you would really call that.
Servant?
Yeah, pretty much like a servant. He just went around, he fixed things kind of like a maintenance man, or maybe like a groundskeeper.
Yeah.
Groundskeeper. But yeah, I really liked his character. I thought that originally, when he goes to this convent, he's supposed to be a deaf mute. And I think the way he interacts originally is pretty accurate. Like the nuns would be talking to him, and he would just kind of smile and kind of like laugh a little bit and just have his movements. I also really liked John C. Reilly's character as head priest. I don't really know what you would call it. The priest, yeah. The only priest there, yeah.
Yeah, when I saw John C. Reilly's name in the credits, I was like, oh no. Because he's like Zach Galifianakis, but not quite as bad. But he was very well subdued in this movie, not over the top, ridiculous, goofy, like he usually is.
Yeah.
He did good in that.
Yeah, I know personally I'm not a big fan of certain types of comedy, like slapstick comedy or just just dumb comedy in general. And so I know a lot of previous John C. Reilly films, he's kind of had that kind of style. So this was a good change where he was both funny, but serious, and there was some like good acting in there too as well. That was a good mix.
It wasn't a role where every line he spoke had to be funny. It was pretty normal, and then every once in a while something funny would come out.
Yeah, which I thought made it even funnier. Yeah, there's not that constant forcing of jokes.
Well, they asked if it's okay if they're drinking the wine, and he said, "Well, I blessed it." That was pretty good.
That is true. Let's see, another really good part about this film was how it is supposed to be in the mid-1300s, and so most of us, at least when we think historically how people should act then, or especially people like the nuns in the convent, how we believe how they should act, is not the case here. They were, their language was modern. They did swear a lot. They
said the fuck word.
They said the fuck word. They, their actions were, I guess you could say, irregular for what we would perceive as to be typical actions from nuns. So that was really exciting to see what you would actually believe and then what actually happens. It was a nice change of pace. I really enjoyed the cast. It was a great cast with all different types of people, different areas of comedy. You have like former Saturday Night Live alumni, you have just comedy writers, you have comedians who do TV series, you have comedians who do movies, and just kind of standard actors like you'd say Dave Franco might be.
Yeah.
So I think it was a good mix, and it went together pretty well. I enjoyed the just going back to like how I like the scenery of the countryside and everything. The film, the way they actually did it was really nice. A lot of it was mirrored, where you'd have the same thing on both the left and the right, and the character right in the middle. Everything would be pretty even as well. I enjoyed the nighttime scenes too, because you could tell it was nighttime and there was the proper lighting, and it turned out really well, I thought.
Boobs.
There were a lot of those at the end, which was very nice. So if you're kind of on the fence and you like, I guess, frontal female nudity from the waist up, you might want to check this out. It's pretty good. Do you have anything else to add here?
I found, going along with the cast, when the girl's father comes and visits her at the beginning, it's Paul Reiser, known from that show Mad About You, and he was on Curb Your Enthusiasm and stuff like that. I was kind of shocked that he really wasn't funny. I was like, why did they use him for that? I thought he would come back later in the movie, but no.
Yeah.
So it's almost funny that they got him just to do pretty much a straight role, and then.
Yeah, I mean and that's what I liked about it too. It was like a real like father-daughter talk.
Yeah.
Like Alison Brie's character desperately wants to get married and find a husband, and then her father is having some trouble financially, and he can't really make that happen. So she seems pretty sad and desperate, and you can tell there was kind of like an emotional connection there when he showed up.
Also, the person that Dave Franco replaces, that all the nuns throw shit at him and spit on him and beat him. I thought the dude, he looked like a mix of Scott Bakula and Henry Winkler.
He did have a very distinct look to him. And he just seemed like a nice guy, smiling at them, and they just hated it.
The one part that confused me is when the main nun, Alison Brie, went up to him, to Dave Franco's character, and said she heard him talk. I didn't catch when that was.
Yeah, so it
seemed out of nowhere to me, like, what?
Yeah, that's something that I had to think about too earlier. It was when she and him were in the midst of coitus, you could say, and her, I guess, assistant, which was the older nun, came in, and he was the one who saw it. So I don't think he like talked. I think he just made a sound, like he vocalized something, like a grunt or a groan or something when he was pointing and trying to get her attention. So yeah, I think that's what it was, because I didn't hear a word.
Right.
So I think that's just what it was.
Okay. Speaking of the coital scenes, apparently nuns like to be on top.
That is, yeah. Of the maybe 3, 4, 5 different scenes with that in there, I'd say a majority was that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No complaints here.
That's the moral of the story that I got.
So yeah, I think that's going to be about it for this review. Coming up next, we have something called 1 Hour Photo, starring Robin Williams. It's supposed to be a psychological thriller. Definitely not the Robin Williams that a lot of people might know and recognize. This is a more serious role for him, which I'm going to enjoy. So, yeah, that'll be that. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.